Hi, besties. You've found your community bestie to share thoughts and opinions, recap the shows we love.
Having too much fun.
Bravo should be fun. And have piping hot gossip sessions about the celebrities and Bravo lebs we love, hate, and love to hate. He went on a podcast claiming he had a threesome with two women from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Immediately, I was like, I wonder if it's Brandy and Carlton.
I'm Caitlin Marshall, your pop culture and Bravo bestie. Allegedly allegations. And if you enjoy fun conversation between friends, listening to your bestie rant about shows we can't get enough of, plus enjoy a little bit of, well, ridiculousness.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. There's a spider that is coming down. Hold on.
It's like the Blair Witch Project.
Oh my God. Has anybody seen my ring?
Oh my God.
I don't want to ruin the party or anything.
Have you seen my ring? Oh my God. Can you look on the floor for my ring? God, John's gonna kill me.
Don't mess with me because I will come.
What? Oh.
Feel free to leave that in for whatever entertainment purposes.
You're in the right place. So thanks for joining me on Besties by Bravo. Hi, besties. Thank you for joining us today, Tuesday, October 15th. Giorgio, I'm so glad you're here. It's been quite the morning.
Yes, it has. Busy bees.
Yes. Well, okay. I'm going to start with the elephant in the room. We had a discussion. That's part of why we were a little late. We needed to have a little bit of a discussion
About my puffy nipples. Yes, that is the elephant in the room, guys. They're puffy again today.
What was it, Elmer's glue that you used? What was that?
No, it's liquid Band-Aid.
Liquid Band-Aid. Well, kind of close.
Kind of. It still hurts. Anyways, that's not the elephant in the room, obviously, but
Yes. Okay. Because Giorgio gets a lot of flack about his love with Tamra, and I think he needs to just have some time between, we all do, to get a better understanding of what's going on here. Okay. I'm going to take this part over just because, listen, nobody can go hate on one of my besties, truly. Like, don't come after Giorgio when he makes posts about Tamra. I'm not saying my besties here in the live do that, but I'm just saying in general, I don't like that. So.
No, before you jump in though, I do want to preface something just because I have connections to certain housewives for various reasons through what I do or any of that. I don't have all of the information that, I don't feel comfortable discussing anybody's diagnosis for that matter, because I feel like it's just not my place. I'm not a doctor. I don't try to act like I am. I don't even try to be a legal analyst. That's why I use AI to read all those documents in court cases. So I'm not here to vouch for anything. I'm learning about it as well. I think we all are, the ones that don't know too much about it. So I'm using this as a way to have more understanding and be educated, because like I said, I can't speak on things that I'm not familiar with.
Yes. And with that being said, obviously, excuse me, still trying to get my voice back. I myself am not a mental health expert. Tamra and Teddy posted from their podcast, Two Teas in a Pod. It seemed overnight that Tamra claimed she was diagnosed as being on the spectrum. I went to my doctor Google. And at first I was, because they had to turn off the comments on it, all of this. And people were really going, and still are going, really ham on Tamra about this. Here's the thing. I went to someone who I know is educated in mental health and is licensed and such. And they had posted an opinion about it. They will just put it this way. No, and I shouldn't say opinion. They gave their educated commentary on it without directly saying Tamra is a liar. Tamra has this. They didn't diagnose this person, Tamra. They didn't say anything regarding Tamra's specific diagnosis. They educated on how the diagnosis of autism works. And there's a different process for children as there is for adults. Because from my research for adults, it does help to have someone who was like a caregiver or a parent when this person was younger be a part of the diagnosis process. It is, from to my understanding, it does not seem that it is ever something that is done in one session, no matter how long the session is, especially if it's the first session. It takes multiple appointments. And, I have to say, I don't personally have someone in my life who we had no idea that they could be on the spectrum or not, and then happen to find out that they are, let's say. The only person I have in my life with autism, it is not even in the same realm. And just for their privacy of a child, I would not give more information on that. But my understanding is that, again, this isn't something that can be diagnosed in adults in one session, particularly their first session with a therapist. Now, again, I'm not a mental health expert. What I have to say is I noticed that this person had to take down their post as a mental health professional who knows what they're talking about. They had to take down their post, and and I happened to be tagged in it. And I will say, I don't think it was because I know it wasn't because I made them take it down. I'm not saying anyone made them take it down, but it is quite interesting, the timing, just like a lot of people are saying the timing of this alleged diagnosis seems suspect. My biggest issue is if you choose to be what some may say is vulnerable and open, there's sometimes things that happen when you do that. And that's the fear of being vulnerable and open. And sometimes that fear is realized. So maybe for Tamra, that fear is being realized. However, I think if this was not an official diagnosis, which it doesn't sound like it was from what I know, it's rather irresponsible to put out there after one therapy session, your very first one, that you have been diagnosed with autism when that's not how it works. If only it could work that way so people could get answers that quickly. It is irresponsible to do. It's also not okay to treat people who are kind to you in a manner that it's not okay to give people energy they're not giving you. And that's all I'm going to say. I think more will be coming out about that. So the way we're going to do this recap, though, is Giorgio and I are going to pretend that did not happen this morning, because we want to recap it as a recap. We don't want it to be about whatever Tamra may have or have not going on emotionally, mentally, physically, because we want this to still be a fun recap. Don't you agree? I think we should.
Well, we can't add things in that aren't in the episode. So I would hope that we stick to the episode and what
That's what we're going
happened
to do
in those filmed scenes, please, because,
that's what we're going to do. And I just want to make that clear that we're removing what was not in the episode. Does that make sense? Just because, again, we're recapping the episode, not Tamra Judge.
Right.
And it will be a lot more fun for everyone if we don't. Okay, so let's get into the episode. So starting with Gina, Jen, Heather, and Shannon getting mammograms. This was, I always appreciate when housewives use their platform to go ahead and do something like it. I can tell you, I bet it reminded a lot of women, oh man, I gotta go get my mammogram. Now the parameters for how often I should say you have to get mammograms as a female or have actually changed. But I appreciate it. Like I don't think it's a reach for attention when they do this. I like when they do it because it really does serve as a great reminder for women to be like, I need to do a self-check because y'all, I've never done a self exam, I don't think, because my chest is not totally my own. How about that for being vulnerable in a confession? Most people don't know it though. So how about that? But yeah, Heather having the two close family members who have been diagnosed with breast cancer. Yes, very important. Now, can I
Yeah, I
ask
would.
you this,
Yeah, go ahead.
Giorgio? My notes, was it Gina or Jen who asked Shannon if she sent the text to Alexis? The text.
Oh gosh, I don't know now. Was it
Because
Gina?
my notes, I'm like,
I feel like it was Gina. No?
okay. I thought it was Jen. And so then I was like, why is Jen
No, I think it
asking?
was Jen. I think it was. I do. Because I
Yeah,
feel
because
like Jen was just at Alexis's house and she was explaining to them how like she like went off the hinges.
yeah.
No, 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 no. I have it backwards. Sorry, guys. I think Gina asked, and then
Okay.
Jen jumped in to say, yeah, she was pissed about the thing because when we went over, and then Shannon's like, oh no, yeah, she did respond.
Because it does make a difference when
It does.
because I was like, if Jen, I don't know, my notes had that it was Jen, and I was like, Jen, girl, if you already knew. I thought she was starting to play the housewife game, but she wasn't. Okay. That's where I was like, okay, let me just double check because my memory, wasn't serving me properly. And I didn't have time to go back and rewatch that specific moment in that scene. Life is lifing. um, so when she was asked, Shannon, if she heard back, Shannon reads the text that Alexis sent her. Oh my God. Alexis sends Shannon, hi, Shannon Beador. Since you're hosting this amazing trip to Europe with our friends, surely you can scrounge the funds up to pay my future husband his $75,000 you owe him. Safe travels, heart emoji. Sorry, Alexis's accent is so bizarre. It changes daily, I feel like. Alexis? Mm. Mhm. Mhm.
I can't say everything I want to say about this episode on this podcast, which is why I'm reserving my real thoughts for Patreon. Because first of all, I don't know why she is going after Shannon for John's money. Like, if John already has things in motion, then button it up. Stop using this as a storyline. You've already been excluded from the last cast trip of the season. And this is probably going to be a one and done for you because you refused to give anything different. You made the whole season about
Exactly.
attacking Shannon. And I hope everyone's listening to this part because later in this episode, you may not like what I have to say, but I am saying right here, right now, no matter what, the way in which Alexis and John handled this season was trash.
Mhm.
I just want to put that out there very crystal clear. I don't care what came about in this episode. It doesn't change my opinion on John and Alexis. So all I'm saying is that Alexis does not have her own brain. It is also
Mm-mm.
very clear from that Us Weekly interview that Johnny J had to correct her and speak for her. And it is absolutely, it's trash. You are a grown woman. You're a mother. You need to have your own backbone. You need to know what the fuck you want to say and say it with some actual, like, with your feet in the ground, not say something and keep looking at your man to get validation for, is it okay that I'm saying that? Like, Jesus wants his jugs back forever. Like, I don't care. This is not the point. This message also wasn't it. It sounds like a salty person because it would have been okay, right? If she came along to London and got a Burberry scarf, or would that get used against her too if she was there? Like, oh,
Exactly.
you bought everyone's scarves. Why don't you pay Johnny J? Like, I can hear it now. So
Yeah.
all I'm saying is that she should have backed off. And if John wanted to say it, he should have gotten mic'd and shown up at these damn dinners.
Yep. But Giorgio, he's so private.
No, give him an orange. Give
That's
him the orange.
but
Or
that's
give him
the
a
thing.
producer credit, because that's all he's done is produce from behind the scenes and push Alexis to the forefront. And that's why he wanted her to go on the show. I don't buy that he was going to give her the $11 to not go on. Okay.
You know, you were wondering what gay was behind her, you know, hyping her up before these scenes. It was John.
It was Johnny J. It wasn't a gay. It was Johnny J.
Uh-huh. It was him. It was him. You know, that's the thing is also, Alexis, why are you playing so goddamn stupid? I hate to quote Bethany Frankel. I really do. But you can't play smart and dumb at the same time. Because do you think Shannon paid for the entire trip herself? You absolute imbecile. I swear to God, and I said this to someone the other day, a mutual friend now, that I had messaged you about that. I said, you know what? I'm surprised Alexis can function in public without John winding her up, because I think it is truly a light breeze between those ears most of the time. And I genuinely think that Alexis believes she is on this whole other realm of intelligence. And I'm not saying she's totally stupid, but I am saying that she's an idiot.
No, she's not bright. She's definitely
Mm-mm.
not bright.
Yeah.
But even aside from that, I wouldn't hold that against her. It's this behavior
Yeah.
that she keeps dishing out. And she's seemingly going to push through to the end, because I do know that Johnny J shows up at the
Yep.
finale party. So whatever happens there, great. But where were you the rest of the season, John? Because you're the one that has the issue here. Shannon doesn't owe Alexis money. So I
No,
don't know why she's
it's
acting
John.
like this is her $75,000. She's looking at that money like, that's my ring, bitch. You better
Because it
I
was
want my ring.
Giorgio.
I want my lab-grown diamond, bitch, and I want the biggest one he can get. So 75 will do it.
Listen, I guarantee that was Johnny J's excuse for waiting to propose to her. That's why she's so hot on it.
Shannon would pay me back.
Yeah,
Imagine the size of the lab-grown diamond I could get you.
Hey, listen,
if
we're
she
not.
just paid me
We
back.
can't knock lab grown. I'm all about lab grown. It's
There's
ethical.
nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying you can get a really nice rock, lab-grown rock for $75K. And who doesn't want to? Alexis surely wants to be parading around town and at the Quiet Woman with something that's weighing her hand down from Johnny J. It's not the only thing weighing her
I was
down.
Bird satellite.
She wants people to know it's more than just her mattress getting weighed down. Yeah, so Shannon in her confessional is like telling us, you know, about the text she received from Alexis, and she says, but can you pay my future husband in month 4? Okay. I just love it when Shannon gives us that like a waspy white woman from the South type of energy. Do you know what I'm talking about? I'm not saying Shannon's from the South, but it's like this Southern waspy energy
Yeah,
that it just
it's like
cracks
she's
me up.
hung out with a bunch of them for a long time,
Yeah.
and she brought it back to OC with her.
Yeah, you know, that's like that needs to be her brand a little bit more. I'd like to see Shannon lean into something like that. Jen tells Shannon that Alexis truly believes she was coming on the trip, and Shannon's like, that would be #delusional, and starts just popping off in the middle of this quiet, because doctors' offices are quiet, especially a female doctor's office, like as in a doctor's office for women. And she's saying, well, she called me a liar, face getting involved in the lawsuit, carrying on. And we then end up seeing more of Jen burying her head in the sand, admitting she noticed a lump in her breast 5 months ago. Jen, sweetheart, if you have health insurance, there's really, I know you moved, but that's not really.
Did
Most
she
people
have
have to
health
ignore.
insurance 5
Well,
months ago?
that was my next thought. As I said, you know, most people have to ignore something like that until they have to stop ignoring it because of maybe health insurance or cost of health care, which is understandable. Maybe that was why. I don't know. Everyone's good, though, thank God, except Heather. Now, it's pretty clear Heather, she seems quite naturally endowed the way things are. I don't know. I can't tell. I don't pay attention to women's boobs that much, even though, like, as a female, we tend to do that. Just we just look at each other. It's not like weird, but
That is one thing I always check out, and not in a
yeah,
sexual way.
of course not.
Obviously not. But
Yeah.
I do admire them.
Yeah, they're nice. They're cute and perky. But her breast density has her at risk, especially with family history, at 39%, while normal for her age is, I believe they said 11%.
11 to
And
21% or something was the range. Shoot.
no, it was much lower. It was like 11 or 12%. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought she said it was 11 to 21% was the range if you have that density in your breasts. But
Was I awake taking these notes? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, she might have just said 11%. Either way, it's high. It's almost 50%
It was
in
high.
my
Yeah.
mind. So I'd be
Yeah.
freaked out.
I would be too. And Heather was already starting to show that she was upset no one asked her how her results turned out. Now, we find out Shannon's going to get to see Adelaide and Stella. Y'all, I know I didn't have COVID, but knock on wood. But Georgia, you didn't even see on Thursday last week. I had to end the episode 30 minutes early. Didn't even post my gossip session to audio. And then I went, picked up my son, came home, and I was in bed at 7 o'clock and did not wake up until 7 the next day. So I'm still a little like, I probably sound not
Like
quite
grog.
not quite as full bodied in the voice. So now that I've already taken this moment to, chit chat, let's go ahead and say hi to some of our friends here in the live. And if you are here live on YouTube, please join the chat. We want to be able to say hi to you. I see Danny. Hey, Danny. Always so good to have you here. I see Kate. How do you say that? Kate. Is it K Petty 2 or K Pedal? I apologize if I'm screwing that up. Hi, Miriam. We see you. I see Kelly. Hi, just Kelly. So, okay, Tay, the savior, as a person who is diagnosed with autism. This was a disgusting move by Tamra Judge. So, that's what and also, hi, Tay. But it's nice that's the thing is, Giorgio and I don't want to speak for any percentage of any population that, we don't have personal experience with. And, that's where we're trying to be very meticulously gentle and careful with how we say things, because I don't think it's okay to speak on something. And I know Giorgio feels the same way. We're trying to just learn. And I think that's what's important at the moment. Hi, ATX Mel. I thought I saw someone else in here.
April's in the house. Hi,
yes.
April.
Hi, April. Well, besties, thank you for joining again. For shout outs and to just be a part of the conversation, join the chat here on YouTube. All right. So let's get on to.
Oh, sorry, really quick. Danny just posted something, and I should have known because he does an amazing job at covering this. He has personal experience. His brother, I believe, has autism, and he worked for, I think, if I'm not mistaken, one of the largest organizations for autism, or ran it rather. So that's a good point, Danny. Thank you. He provides a lot of education on his channel. So if anyone is also, anyways.
Yes. Yeah. Danny said Zach Peters did a great job covering this today. I will definitely have to go listen to that. Hey, Zach, we love you. Okay. So Emily, dear God, we get on the plane. I love you so very much. I genuinely do. But brushing your teeth and rinsing it with Dr. Pepper, I was cracking up at Katie being like, what in the Ohio dental hygiene? Now listen, y'all know I'm from Oklahoma. And that's the thing is like East Coast, it's Coke. Places like Oklahoma, Ohio, it's Dr. Pepper. Okay. Anywhere that says Pepsi, you're not relevant. I'm so sorry. Don't do Pepsi.
Yeah. I'm not a Dr. Pepper fan.
See?
But I did ask in my recap, what does that taste like? And Emily did respond. And she said it actually wasn't bad. It's like peppermint Dr. Pepper, which kind of makes sense. Like if you like I don't like those. I don't like flavors. I like straight up Coke.
Yeah.
So Coca-Cola, guys.
Obviously, we're not talking about pasta.
Very wrong on Reddit. Just clips of people like, I love Coke. No, so it's interesting because I've never I think I've tried Dr. Pepper once or twice. I even talked to Jeff about this in Tulum because I was like, like I've never. Is it root beer?
Dr. Pepper? No, it's
But I don't.
caffeinated.
No, I know, but like, what is the taste? It's not Coke, so like, what is the? Why is it called Dr. Pepper? What's the flavor
Well, I'm
profile?
sure it was something along the lines of how Coca-Cola used to be something different. And I'm sure it's like, I don't know the history, Georgie, I don't know the history behind Dr. Pepper, but Dr. Pepper, one of the things that they say is like part of the flavoring is like prune juice. Is it the one that has like 21 flavors in it? I can't remember. I could be making that up.
So it
But
doesn't have pepper.
no, it's sweet. And it's
Okay,
like,
I'm taking the name at face value.
no, I like, if I have the option, I am going to get Dr. Pepper before I get Coke.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you guys gonna make me go out and get a Dr. Pepper this afternoon? Because it's carbonated prune juice.
No, not totally. Jen, don't you tell us that. No, it's like, yeah, Kelly, it does kind of taste like cherry Coke a little bit, but it's I don't know how to I don't know how to explain it. Gosh.
Well, apparently it's not that bad with toothpaste. So
No, it would be. It would be. It would be. It would be. I don't. When I saw Emily do that, I was like, "Oh, no."
hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, babes.
It's not
If my
orange
breath
juice
has
and
to,
toothpaste.
that would be quite different. But you know what? If
Mhm.
anything, your breath will just smell like you just had a Dr. Pepper after you brush your teeth. That's all.
Probably.
Right?
Yeah, it wouldn't be horrific, like I said, like, it wouldn't be like orange juice and toothpaste, but still.
Oh no, April, I would have asked for a Sprite. They have Sprite on airplanes. Sprite would have been better because it's limon, like
Ye
the lemon.
LOL. Yeah, okay, sorry, I'm, like, reading some of these.
We're like so grossed out about this. It's so funny.
If you could ask for a soft drink, why wouldn't you ask for water?
True, but
Or
maybe
carbonated water, like a seltzer?
actually that could be good to rinse with carbonation. All the bubbles. No.
I don't know. If you're using, like, whitening toothpaste, I feel like it might make your teeth more sensitive. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it probably isn't good to mix acidity with whatever. It's been a long flight.
Here, everyone thought we were gonna debate over whether Tamra's on the spectrum
Yeah.
or not. Now we're
Nope.
just trying to decide what soft drink is better to brush your teeth.
I just need to figure out if I like Dr. Pepper.
You gotta try it. Like, go ahead. Like, my
I
favorite
don't like
places
prune juice, so I
it
feel
doesn't
like
taste like prune juice. No, it doesn't taste like prune juice. I don't know how there is prune, there used to be at least. I don't know if there still is prune juice in it. Go to like a 7-Eleven. Get one at like because if you're going to McDonald's, their Coke is the best Coke. But if
of
you're going to get
course.
a Dr. Pepper, go to like a 7-Eleven, get that good ice and like just go ahead and go for it. When I was pregnant, the way it was so hard because you can't have as much caffeine and there's caffeine in Dr. Pepper. The way I would have to pick and choose when I could have my freaking Dr. Pepper because that was my vice. Okay. Like right now, my vice is currently the strawberry acai refreshers from Starbucks. Once I get on a kick, I stick with it.
Okay, let's just say it does have prune juice. Doesn't prune juice make you go tooties?
Make you poop? Yeah, it
Yeah.
can. But like
Yeah, so
it has to be like
am I
pure
gonna
prune
have like
juice.
carbonated gassy tooties after
No,
having Dr. Pepper? Because I don't need that.
no. It's not even 50% prune juice. If there's any, it's maybe like 0.25%. Like
But
not
you're
even.
saying I need to get a fountain one, not
Yeah.
a bottle or a
No.
can. It needs okay.
If you're
So
trying it for the first time,
7-Eleven, fountain,
yeah. If you're trying it
not
the
the
first time, don't get
McDonald's
the
one.
bottle. It doesn't taste the same.
Okay. Because I don't like Coke in a bottle. I only
No.
like it if it's in a can typically, but McDonald's smacks with the fountain Coke.
Yeah, so that's why get a fountain Dr. Pepper. It's always gonna be better.
Okay.
Mhm. You're gonna be like the kombucha girl.
I don't like
Oh.
kombucha.
I'm not the biggest fan of it. There's some I don't mind, but it's literally like only one particular brand and one particular flavor. So, Okay. God, Heather had to get on the speaker and tell everyone it's Shannon's birthday and that she's single. As if everyone on the plane was going to know. Hi, Heather Dubrow here.
Do you know something funny about that? I was dying laughing because I don't know if you remember, but when they filmed getting on that flight, they were so flipping late that people were annoyed. So I was
didn't
like,
see that.
those people probably were like, girl, get off that land this plane, please, because they were running behind. I don't remember. It was because I don't
Are we
remember.
shocked?
Someone posted it on their Instagram stories, like another person on the plane, and they showed them like, I guess I don't remember who they were waiting. Dare I say they were waiting for Shannon Beador, but I could be wrong. Don't quote me
Probably.
on that. But yeah, it was just funny because I was like, gosh, they're probably like so over all of this like housewives shit. Like, I just want to get back to the UK. What is this?
Like, leave me alone. I'm watching Bridgerton. Like, Jesus, shut up, ladies. Um, so they land, and these ladies are really trying hard to get Shannon embarrassed and both late at the same time. And this is another moment. Heather, when they get to the hotel, Heather's like, "Hi, Heather Dubrow." They don't know who you are. Like, what?
That would be like me doing it on the flight back from Tulum and just thinking that everyone knows Giorgio Says. Like, hi, it's Giorgio from Giorgio Says. We're about to land. Like, who care? Who the fuck are you? Get
Like,
back to your
bitch, sit
seat,
down.
19F.
Get back to your assigned seat. Like, oh my God. I think they were on JetBlue though, so that's probably why.
They were. I think it was actually I saw that the credits gave them like they might have sponsored the flights.
I don't think I've ever flown JetBlue before.
They used to be good, not so much anymore. In the beginning, they were like they were legit, like they were great. But now I think it's just like anything gets so watered down in terms of service.
Yeah, it happens. Well, Shannon also introduces herself as Shannon Storms Beador, the Duchess of Corona Del Mar. These men do not care. They're like, great. So they get to their penthouse. They do their whole thing of figuring out who's getting what room. And Shannon does bring the ladies gift bags that are screaming tourist and include the $595 Burberry scarf. Now, I have to give this to Jen. I loved it. Jen cracked me up saying in her confessional, girl, you could have just given me a knockoff. I would have never known. Good on you. I'm proud of her. I
Can
am.
I just say, I know that Jen will never like me for obvious reasons, but I have to give the girl credit where credit's due. Last episode, she poked fun at her eviction when she was thrown out of Alexis's house. So that's you get major points for that because you have a good sense of fucking humor, baby.
Yes.
This time around, she's poking fun at the fake Balenciaga sweater and making I love someone who does know how to have fun, even if it's at their own expense.
Yes.
So I'm gonna give her the points. And to be fair, I've always liked Jen.
Yeah, it's Ryan.
It's not Jen, you guys. It's just, have you ever had a girlfriend whose boyfriend sucked so bad that you're like, I just can't be friends with you, girl. Like, you're so digmatized by this guy. Like, I can't say anything. So I can't really be friends with you like that. That's kind of how I feel with Jen,
Yeah, I get it. I think that's the way all of us feel. Well, in confessional, Tamra says, why is Shannon dishing out these scarves like they're candy when she's in a $75,000 lawsuit and says she doesn't have the money to pay for it? Okay, fair point. But at the same time, Shannon never said she didn't have the money to pay him back. So that's a leap. Sorry, but it is.
I think for that part, I know she did not say that she didn't have the money, but I think her reaction to it came off as if like, oh, where am I gonna get? Like, I didn't know I was supposed to pay this back. Like, like that's a lot of money. It's even if she does have it, it's not like it's sitting in her Chase account where she's gonna Venmo like 75. Like, she's gonna have to go move some shit around. Yes, for sure.
Absolutely.
But yeah. Anyways.
Well, Shannon leaves and Tamra asks Heather if they're going to bring up the Jeff Lewis appearance Shannon did. And Heather asks Tamra if she saw the clip about the quote unquote loan. And this is what, Giorgio, you were talking about last week. And, you know, here's the thing. Okay. So in the clip from Jeff Lewis, he asks Shannon if John gave her the money unsolicited. And she says, no, I needed the money. And her story is that he said, well, I wish you could get a low interest loan. And that she looked at him and said, well, you have money. And here's the thing, to Tamra and Heather, this is the smoking gun that it was alone. I wish Shannon would have just shut it and not said all of that. She should not have done that. It was not helpful to her. And it's like, mostly because I just want to stick it to Johnny J. I think he sucks. I'm not, but if it was a loan, then yes, she should be paying him back. Now, Heather brings up the photo in Sonoma that Shannon showed her. And it's brought up that Heather claims Shannon told her John heard the accident, when in reality, Shannon said, my friend asked me a few days later. Like, if we're going to mince words, let's mince words, ladies. Let's go ahead, because Shannon said her friend asked her how he didn't hear it. And on Jeff Lewis, he asks her if it ever occurred to her that John heard the accident. She said, I haven't really thought about it, Jeff. But she's already in litigation, essentially, with him. I would not, and we know Jeff likes to stir the pot, and we love that for him. But at the same time,
well, I do have some inside info on this.
do tell.
Jeff Lewis, who should be paid by New York Housewives and Orange County at this point for the amount of times his interviews keep getting clipped in. But a lot of you guys may or may not remember, at the beginning of filming this current season, I believe Jeff was on Watch What Happens Live, and he slipped and said he had just had lunch with Shannon for the show.
Yes.
And he did not like that. And so maybe perhaps that's why that was probably cut out. But I feel like that wasn't the smoking gun, by the way. I just want to preface, like, the way Heather went about that was more about did the friend hear? Did she hear? Did he not hear? Blah, blah, blah. That wasn't the smoking gun. The smoking gun comes later in the dinner for me, because this did come up in the conversation with Tamra and Heather about Johnny sending Shannon a promissory note, right? And so that's when my ears bucked up. Not because I think she's lying, but because why wasn't that said from the get-go?
Yeah,
that was
I'm a
my
little confused
in that conversation. I absolutely, my ears were up, because I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, I could see if someone didn't mention that piece of it, I would feel like, well, wait a second, I have more questions. Not because I think you're lying, but maybe I didn't get all the detail. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
You want more details before outright calling someone a liar.
correct.
Yeah. And that's pretty fair. Yeah, so basically they table that whole conversation because they're going to bring it up at the table later. All right. They go on this mission to get Shannon laid, essentially, as they're on the way to the boat. And my God, it's just like, ladies, you're just trying to just stop. It's just embarrassing and awkward.
But look, come on, this guy, as good looking as he was,
Silver
do you
fox.
really think with all the cameras and everything, this guy is going to just be like, oh yeah, Shannon? Like, no. It's so
Like, ma'am, could you
awkward.
just get in the goddamn fucking Sprinter van and get away from me? I'm doing my job. Are you going to tip me or not?
Well, and also he's just like working. He doesn't what?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh, my voice is starting to go again. Y'all, I'm going to power through as best I can. Dang it. Shannon embarrasses all of them with this British flag bucket hat that she's making them all wear on the bridge for a picture. Okay. And they get on the boat. They're all pretty effing miserable. Shannon, though, pitches a fit about sitting by herself on the boat because it's my birthday. That was so random. Like, who cares? And yeah, I have to tell you, I love a good, really far back flashback. Like when we find out that the original London Bridge is now in Havasu. I wish that was something I already knew. And we get that footage of Vicky getting hit in the face by the football. I'm sorry.
Any chance those editors can flash back,
I love it.
they go down those archives and they like, I know we have a
I
clip
love
of
it.
this somewhere. It's hilarious.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. And then listen, I am not a roller coaster girl. Don't ever ask me to go on roller coasters with you, but this boat ride did look like a lot of fun. And basically the only people having fun on it were Emily and Tamra. Heather and Gina hated it so much, especially Heather.
Heather really hated it. She was like, "Are we really? How long are we doing this for?"
She was like, "Get me off of this shit."
You know, she was like telling production, "Okay, can we, guys? No, I'm serious. I need to call Terry."
Do you not hear me in this mic? Is my mic on? Damn it, Gina, check to see if my mic's still on. Just
Are
yelling
you guys trying to clip me out of this episode?
So when they're all getting ready for dinner and Emily and Gina are wondering why Jen has glam and questioning the money management aspect. I mean, listen, Jen, it wouldn't hurt you to watch some TikToks, some YouTube. That's how I learned how to do my makeup.
But
Truly.
also, no, Gina, that you're that client that goes into the Mac store and books a full face tutorial, wants your little face chart, and you're gonna buy 3 items and then go home and try to recreate the whole look. No.
It's smart
Stop
though
it.
if you're low on money. It's smart. It's smart.
It's smart.
But
It's
I
smart.
listen, Gina got her shot in because she was like, "Yeah, it's a scam. Yeah, I'm a regular Ryan." I was like, "Oh."
Oh,
So,
she's good this
yeah.
season.
Katie and Jen have their conversation about like the round and round with Tamra, which, it's the same old spiel, right? Then we go over to Emily and Gina getting into Shannon's room, where basically I identified with Shannon quite intensely because Shannon's hurrying to finish getting ready while everyone else is like perfectly put together already. Georgia, you know how I am. Sometimes I'm like very early and put together and ready to go. But then if I'm given any sort of leeway, any extra time, I'm like, oh, what do I do with
You
this?
guys, no, Caitlin, I take a long time. Girl, you are, you take, I was like, holy shit, Jeff, don't ever say another word to me because I was like, damn, that girl, she is like perfecting every single
I
thing.
was.
Like you really
I
go
was.
in for like glam time. I loved
I
it, but
did.
I'm like, damn, I'm trying to speed through like
This
my
was at
stuff because I
BravoCon.
hate, yeah. But like, it's just funny because I was like, I literally feel like I'm the only person I move like at a snail's pace to get ready. I stop for breaks to stare at what I'm about to put on my body, like as if like it's, you know what I mean? It's just,
Well,
so
it's
thank
not
you.
like that for me on the daily. If I'm going for it, I fucking go for it. Okay. Like I make sure.
We were in Vegas, to be fair, so
And
it's
it was
not like
nighttime.
we weren't just going to get like sushi at like.
But Giorgio did have to say, Caitlin, if you put on any more makeup, you were going to look casket ready. And I was like, okay, fine. Because
No,
that's
to
my other
be
thing. I
fair
don't
to
want to touch it
you,
up later. I want it
to
done. I don't
be
want to touch it again.
fair, those bathroom lighting
Oh, it was
situations, they are the devil, and they will have you looking fucked up.
Yep.
Fix the lighting in all of them.
Why
are
do
you
they
giving
do
me
that?
2 yellow bulbs in this dark ass bathroom? Like I'm supposed to now I gotta bring lighting, ring lights, gotta
Yes.
look out the window so I don't look casket ready or look like I
That
have
was
like
the hard
dirt on
part.
my face because I didn't blend my bronzer or something. Because in the bathroom in there, you're like, damn, I look good. And then you go out there and it looks like crepey and like
Yes. That's what was so hard being there is going daytime. You would think, okay, it looks fine, finally. And then you get into the conference lighting that was in there. The lighting was horrible in there. Anyway, yeah, they're having it again in 2025. I'm so glad my bank account gets a break.
I'm bringing my own lighting.
Well, you know,
Actually,
I did.
screw that. I'm bringing my own glam. That's it.
You know what?
Could you imagine?
Listen,
Jeff would
I'm
kill
hoping
me if we had to fly a third.
Listen. I have someone that already lives here in Denver. We're gonna just manifest this that we will have the budget that Hi Jure for the sleigh. He's amazing at makeup. I love him. That's if his girl Erica Cobb, who basically has him on retainer. I also love you so much, Erica. I'll be like, Jure, but we got to make sure we can afford this first. But also,
Well,
if you want to check out a fabulous makeup artist, Dre for the Slay. I love him so much.
well, Jeff just commented, "No, you're not." So there's the answer to my question.
Jeff was like, absolutely not in the budget.
Nope.
Well, but Jeff, like, what if Giorgio and I like have some sort of deal going and we can
What if
split
we
it or
split
something?
it?
So stupid.
How lazy are we that we just want to sit around and get glam to go watch other housewives who also got glam? Like,
Are
who
you
the
kidding?
fuck are we?
Giorgio, it would get me the fuck out of the room so much faster.
It would. Do you think it would, or would we be like, because it's not us? I'm
We'd be just
particular.
Oh no, I've Dre's done my makeup before. I could at least say, like, I wouldn't trust any random person to do my makeup.
Like, I wouldn't book like a glam squad person the day of and
No.
just hope for the best. I'd rather go to Macy's. You know what I mean? No, I mean, I'd have better luck, is all I'm saying.
Yeah. Or
Anyways.
Sephora, even.
No, I'm not going to Sephora to get my makeup.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
So, yeah, they help Shannon finish getting ready. Jesus. Gina tells Shannon the back of her head looks like the year she's having, and that's okay. Oh my God. That was
The teasing with that brush was stressing me out, you guys. Like, I was like, oh my God.
you
You are
trying to tease it
ripping
with
your
that
hair out.
over the
Ooh.
extensions, girl. Mm-mm. So, okay, I know. You are not going to be able to deny this. I know you're not. Because when they sit down at dinner after they cheers, Tamra looks at Heather and she goes, "Oh my God, I wanted to ask you." And she says, Gina came over after the mammograms and says to Heather, "I didn't hear about yours." Look, obviously, Heather brought this up to Tamra, which Tamra later accuses Shannon of doing, but that's fine. This is what they all do. It's not a big deal. But Tamra is smart enough to go ahead and bring this up on camera because also I think Heather told her. And then Tamra was like, "Well, do you want me to bring it up? I'll call this bitches out." Which also, again, ironic because Tamra accuses Shannon of doing this later, but it was so blatant. Like, come on.
Because it came out of nowhere. They weren't
Yeah.
even talking anything about this.
No.
And she was like, by the way,
How are your
I didn't-
tests?
how did your tits mammogram thing go? I didn't hear about yours, Heather. I heard from Gina. And Heather's like, "Thank you so much for giving me the floor. Actually, ladies, really hurt me that no one even bothered to ask how my tits were."
I mean, it's a serious thing, but at the same time, like, y'all, come on, don't play us like we're that stupid.
By the way, how are your tits?
Okay.
Oh, Heather just wanted to get it out, and she knew she couldn't just bring it up randomly. So she's like, "Can you please bring it up
Especially
for
after
me?
everything
Can you
with Emily.
ask?"
No. After everything with Emily, she's like, "I need someone to feel sorry for me and know that I'm not just this asshole." Which, by the way, Heather, we are never going to forget what you fucking said in confessional about Emily after the whole thing about the sizing, saying, "And that dress Emily was wearing was a size 12, and it wasn't too big. In fact, it was tight." That is where you sealed your own fate. That was so deplorable that you said that.
Well,
Anyway,
to all the people that were in my DMs when I pointed that out, that said, "That's not fair because skinny people get this all the time. They're like, you need to eat a cheeseburger." Okay, well, if that was Heather Dubrow's issue at the Susan Bender fashion show, and Emily was the one, and it was Susan Bender by Emily Simpson, and Heather left feeling like, there was a lot of, "You need to eat something, and it really hurt me." Then I think perhaps that would have gone differently. However,
agreed.
I hate when people bring something up that hadn't happened to just say, "Well, it happens over here too." It really diminishes what actually happened in the moment, which is not fair, if I'm honest, because yes, I'm not saying that no one's ever said that to Heather, but the way Heather laid it out was like, "I'm in Hollywood. I understand body image
No, you
issues."
don't.
How?
No, you don't.
How? Because you have to lose an inch or two for a role that you're not on?
Yeah, there is a huge difference. And look, people are body shamed at every size, shape, and whatnot. No one is saying that they're not. At the same time, you don't see very many people applauding someone when they gain weight. You see them applauding someone when they lose weight. So let's just put that into perspective, okay?
Which proves the point every time when people say, oh no, it's not about the weight. But the first thing out of everyone's mouth when the person does end up losing weight,
Yep.
oh my God, you look amazing. As opposed to,
Yep. Thank you. That's the point.
okay, so
It's not a conversation of who has it worse. It's about
no.
let's keep it real, besties. Come on. We certainly are not body shaming anyone and not discrediting anyone of any size saying they've been body shamed, but my God.
But this wasn't the issue, is why it is
No.
perplexing that Heather even needed to say, I, of all people, know what it's. No, you don't.
No, you're a size fucking 02. Give me a break. Anyway, okay. So Heather starts pulling the tears. Yeah. I mean, look, to be honest, I understand. Like, I don't think anyone regarding the women asking her about it or not, I don't think that Heather is right or wrong. And I don't think the women are right or wrong. I think they just should have asked her. But also, Heather clearly is that type of person that expects to be asked what's going on instead of just saying, look, here's what's up. But at the same token, this was something different. Like, she may have needed time to process the information she got.
I will say this, and not that they should have asked, because that's the right thing to do. If we
I
were all
agree.
in a group getting tests, I would have absolutely been like, so how did yours go?
Yeah.
But the other challenge here with Heather is that she produces herself to such a degree that she always looks like everything's great. There's never a problem. And if there was an issue with her breast, she would have known about it before coming to film this scene.
Thank you.
That's my thinking. So I
Yeah.
don't think they maliciously were like, don't
No.
ask Heather about hers. I think they just assumed, right? They also heard her go, yay, in the other room. Again, you should never assume. You should have still asked nonetheless. My point,
Agreed.
though, is Heather needs to do a better job at being real and vulnerable and
Thank
being in the moment. She should have come in and she should have said, wow, that was actually really frightening. I don't have anything, but I just learned something that kind of piqued
Concerning.
is concerning.
Mm-hmm.
That's not fair to walk in there and be the leader of the camp. I'm glad everyone's is great. Okay, great. And then stand there and be like, no one's gonna ask. Well,
Yeah.
you
What
always
about
look
me?
like everything looks great in your world on camera. There's never a moment that
Yeah.
there's something not just perfect that you
Exactly.
didn't set up. So
And it's only when she thinks that it's something that could be relatable that she'll show an imperfection. And that's the thing. She doesn't get raw enough.
mm-mm.
And that's the other thing too, is Gina says in her confessional, she feels like it's hypocritical that Heather waited so long to say something to them and didn't call her after Heather was so upset about the whole Katie paparazzi thing. And I get what Gina's saying, but at the same time, this was something different. Like I was saying, it may be something that Heather needed to kind of process a little bit more before she brought it up. But Heather wasn't going to bring it up anyway. She was only going to tell Tamra to bring it up for her. So it doesn't matter. And this whole conversation brings up for Katie, because of Heather mentioning the history of breast cancer in her family, that Katie doesn't even know her own family history, like medical family history even. And she tells them about going to meet her birth mother in Korea. And this story, I mean, it is a very heartbreakingly common story that you can hear happening. I don't know how else I want to say that. I'm sure there's a better way to phrase that, but it doesn't make it any less heartbreaking nonetheless, that her mother was only 15 when she gave birth to her, and she was working in a factory until the day she was born, almost had her in the factory, and that she kept Katie for about 3 days before she realized, I can't keep her. I can't do this. My God. Like that's heartbreaking to hear.
So I have to say, I thoroughly, and I mean thoroughly, enjoy Katie on this show.
I do
I
too.
am so happy that they casted her. I love that we got to really get to know her. It's
Mhm.
hard with first season Housewives. Typically, they just kind of throw them in there and we don't really get to know them too much until second or third season. But
Mhm.
I really am pleased with the amount of perception into her world around this, because I think
Mhm.
A, there's a ton of people out there that struggle with this. And B, how could you not have tears in your eyes when she's
Yeah.
feeling the feelings of like finding out her mom could only keep her for 3 days? Yes, she did the best, but it still hurts knowing that at the end of the day, your own mom couldn't keep you. So
Mhm.
I love that they let that story in for her as part
Yeah.
of her story arc. What I didn't appreciate was how inauthentic Heather was being about it. It was, again, we're getting a produced Heather who's trying to pretend like she's cordial and interested. And then in her interview, she's like, I find her story more interesting than her. Like,
I mean, that's the thing, Heather, quit being
all
the
this
word I
over a
don't wanna use.
paparazzi photo that you say you didn't stage that should be ridiculous. And we all laughed at it at this point. You're still pissy about this. What else did Katie do to her? I'm
Honestly,
sorry.
Heather, buck up and quit hiding behind confessionals to say what you really wanna say. Yes, confessionals are the time for going a little farther. You don't say even a tenth of what you say in confessional, and it comes off as completely fake and contrived,
It
okay?
is. It is.
Mhm.
Why didn't she say that in the moment?
I don't know. I don't know. I did
Exactly.
because she's too I don't
She's
like
too prim and proper and
yeah,
produced. You wouldn't say that at a dinner table. Of course not. You shouldn't say it at all.
you're a scaredy cat. So, as soon as we, barely even finished that conversation, Tamara immediately decides this portion of the convo is over, where everyone's connecting and being kind. And she immediately looks over at Shannon, "What's going on with the lasso?" And Heather's just kinda like, "Why are we talking about that?" And so Emily starts to say that Shannon likes to talk about it, but then she asks her if she wants to talk about it. And Shannon's like, "Do I like to talk about it? Absolutely not. No." And Tamara's like, "But you just went on the Jeff Lewis show and talked about it for an hour." Okay, look, yes, Shannon says she does have the right to defend what's been put out there that she perceives as being untruthful. Yes, she does. But is it wise? No, because she really fucked her own self over with this. Because then she says, that there was no promissory note, nothing discussed after, and that he never asked her for the money back. She then says, "Then a day or two later, he sends me a promissory note." Was it after the Jeff Lewis show or right after? After what? Is what I'm
This is
not understanding. After
this
what?
is why this is what made me go, hold on a second, because now I'm gonna go back to the basics.
Yeah.
Even if I didn't think it was a loan, and I just assumed, okay, Jeff's giving me $75,000. Okay. We're no longer together,
Yeah. In this hypothetical. Yeah.
but I don't I'm unclear when the promissory note was sent. That would be very interesting information.
That's
But all in
important.
all, the promissory note to me signals that Shannon did understand that he was expecting this money back. Maybe this is a theory. Maybe he sent this promissory note towards the latter part of their relationship before it officially ended.
Mm,
And maybe during that time, Shannon in her mind was like, well, we're together. I'm not going to pay my boyfriend back. So she
right.
thought maybe when the relationship ended that kind of went with it.
Right.
Well, this is where I want better for Shannon. Shannon's got to get smarter about how she maneuvers, because when you're borrowing that kind of money from someone that you're no longer with, okay, then you get on camera and you say that he was horrible to you after that accident, which I agree. That man did not really seem to show up for you the way
Agreed.
he should have. Okay. So that's that. But then along the way, this whole lawsuit thing comes up and you are perplexed. And I'm thinking you're perplexed because your agreement was he just gave it to you. So
Mm,
in that breath, I'm like, well, yeah, no, it's not a loan. If someone gives you the money, then they gave it to you.
right.
But now we're finding out a promissory note was sent. No, she didn't sign it, but you did know that he was expecting this money. So why put yourself through unnecessary legal fees? Because you know her lawyers are not cheap. And
No.
now you have to move money around. And now he won't even accept the amount until you say something that isn't true publicly.
Right.
That's
And
all I
that's
was going at when
yeah.
that came out. And I think that really is, I don't want to say it's a smoking gun because that makes it seem so like, it's not. It's just a piece of the puzzle that should have been revealed a lot earlier.
I agree. Yeah. Um, you know, because that's the thing though. Like Tamara was being quite an asshole in her confessional, saying, "I know for a fact it was a lie. She told me she borrowed the money, and I see his point of view. I'd probably sue her ass too." It's another time when it's like one sentence too far. All she needed to say was, "I know for a fact it was a lie. She told me she borrowed the money." That's all Tamara needed to say. Like part of what the issue with Tamara lately is she just keeps going a few too many sentences far. And that's not the way I remember her always being. She would say some pretty vicious stuff, but she's been going farther and farther every time. And that's where it's like, dude, what is your problem? Like, why are you what is the Shannon sized boulder that has gotten lodged up your ass at this point? Because my freaking God, it's like, what is the deal? Why? Why are you so hooked
It
on this? And I like
it feels personal for
it's way
sure.
too personal.
It's
But at this
personal,
point,
and
it's too much.
I think the issue is that I do believe Shannon is not 100% honest on camera about how she wants things to look. So we talk about Heather producing herself. Shannon also produces herself. I
And
love
Tamara
her.
does too.
And
Tamara talk
everyone does. Everyone
yeah,
does. But I think
everyone.
when
Yeah, absolutely.
you keep scapegoating and playing dumb to things that we don't know. Maybe she didn't say that, but I mean, she could have told Tamara, like, he
Yeah,
lent me the money. And so Tamara's watching her go on and on, like, I can't believe it. Nah, nah, nah. And then
right.
on Jeff Lewis, you're saying all this stuff. Then why aren't you talking about it here?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, because Tamara's gonna talk about it more than Shannon even needs to, because Tamara's just gonna keep hammering down unnecessarily. And so again, it's brought up the Jeff Lewis thing, right? And how Shannon showed Heather the photos in Sonoma. And I'm sorry, but Heather's telling Shannon she felt used after Shannon wouldn't say on a radio show that she believed that John heard the accident. Again, Heather, this is ridiculous. Shannon didn't use you. She looked at you as a friend. And yes, there were cameras there. Anything that she says to you is on camera right now. If she calls you and there's a camera and she doesn't know, she's going to be on speakerphone. This is absurd. And the reasoning for Heather is ridiculous. I feel like Heather, now that she feels like Tamra, like she's not being left out by Tamra, now she's going to be trying to crawl up Tamra and be like, okay, well, that means I need to be against Shannon. And it's just, it feels stupid. I just, if
Well, let's be 100%. Heather, what have you had going on this season? Nothing. We're tail ending the season now, so you need to get something going. So of course, let's
Mhm.
drum up something with Shannon, since this is the elephant in the room anyway.
Yeah.
You know, that's how I felt.
Yeah. It just, I mean, that reach, I'm
She
surprised
wouldn't have
Heather's
needed to
shoulder
do it with you, Heather, anyway. If she wanted to cover it, she'd do it with a Gina or an Emily, or she'd do it with
with
not
Tamra.
you. No one's
Yeah.
using you, dear. For
No.
what?
No. For
Give
what?
me a break.
Or what?
What?
Um, so yeah. Anyway, sorry, I lost my place here. But Shannon did make the point that she couldn't say, yeah, Jeff, I think he heard the accident, because then that would be defamation. What, does she need another like freaking thing thrown in with this with John? No, she doesn't. And I did like that Jen was like, she was talking to you about something going on in her life because you're her friend. What the fuck, Heather? And Shannon's freaks out, loses her shit, gets out, right? And, Tamra claims in her confessional that Shannon would ask her to say certain things about David, and that Tamra would then bring them up on camera, and that Shannon would then be like, "Oh my God, don't say that. Where'd you hear that?" Again, I'm sorry. At this point, when it comes to the dynamic between Shannon and Tamra, I think the truth is 50-50. And I'm not saying it's all one or the other. I think you got to split those hairs there, because I don't believe that either one of them is being, at this point, after all the interviews we've seen come out lately, There's no one person that's being completely like simple and honest with things. I think Tamra, she does herself no favors going so hard after Shannon. And it just, when Shannon, it's kind of like Shannon spirals easily. That's why it's frustrating to watch Tamra go after her because Shannon will spiral. And even if she's trying to fire back things, you can tell she is so stressed out and so just like that it's like it, it's odd that it would be this way, at least from my perspective, but the way Tamra continues to stay calm and it shows you that Tamra doesn't get as easily flustered. So it looks mean the way Tamra will go ahead and fluster Shannon. And I'm not saying that Tamra's not flustered in these moments, but it looks worse when a calm person sees someone that they know can spiral that easily and just keep going and keep needling. And that's why even though Shannon's not seeing anything good at all, it doesn't look good.
I often wonder, and again, this is not because I'm hating Shannon, but I do wonder sometimes if she spirals more on purpose to get out of having any accountability. Because we've seen this with any interaction where someone's pushing up against her or trying to point something out. We've seen it with Gina. We've seen it with other people in the past where they try to confront Shannon on something. Not even talking about the drinking or anything that's happening this season. I'm just saying in general. I've noticed that, and maybe she is just that flustered, right? But then are you not then supposed to interact with her because she's going to flip the frick out and storm away? Because come on, is it not telling at the table when she gets up and everyone's like, Shannon, come on, don't leave. Like, she does this a lot and it stalls filming, it stalls the scene. So all I'm saying is that, yeah, she is flustered and anxious. That's part of her nature. You can tell. But I think sometimes I do agree. She did misspeak. She misspoke by going on Jeff Lewis and saying those things because she did tell Heather, my friend is the one who said, don't you think he heard it? Like, he's the one that whoever the friend was, she could have easily
but I can
said that as
understand
well.
it probably felt like more pressure with a mic in front of her. And now I'm so sorry, friends. We have about 5 minutes to wrap up because at my son's school, they locked me out last time when I was less than 5 minutes late.
You're a bad mother.
I know. And when I show up 5 minutes early, I'm the first one picking him up. I have a 10-minute window.
They're so strict at these schools. My gosh.
Like, I appreciate that you guys are secure, but then it stresses me out. You
feel like a criminal coming late. You're like,
yes, I did. I started
mother.
crying.
Come on,
the way
sweetie,
home.
let me take you for ice cream.
Dude, I started crying on the way home on Thursday. It was already a rough day, and I started crying on the way home for picking him up because I felt like such a piece of shit that I picked him up literally 5 minutes late and they locked me out.
I would feel the same way though.
I walked in and I was like, you guys
That's
locked
dramatic.
those doors
They
pretty
didn't need to
early.
lock the doors. That's a bit dramatic. Is there not a side entrance for the parents?
No, you can only go, and it's for safety, and I appreciate it, but it's also school gets out 1:00. I showed up at 1:05.
Oh, that's not. Come on.
Like, I'm not trying to make myself a victim here, but I was like, are you kidding me? I was not happy. Anywho, okay, so Shannon's pissed. She's like done at this point because, oh wait, I missed something. God damn it. Okay, get to it, Caitlin. So she's really spiraling here. And Gina starts saying to Tamra, this is a big thing happening here. I feel bad. And Shannon's like, no, this is a reality show trickling into my life, which at the moment was kind of an odd thing to say. And Heather says, isn't this our real life? No, Heather, it's not your real life. And we all fucking know it. But the thing that I finally figured out after I was writing the notes and I was like, what did she mean by that? I think what she was saying was that Alexis is using me as a storyline for a reality show. And that is what is trickling into my life. I think that's what she meant because Alexis has no other storyline for this show. She has no other reason to be there, no other storyline whatsoever. Don't you think that's the only thing I could conclude? Because Shannon has given us everything over the years.
Well, I mean, she's had a lot of stuff happen to her, to be fair. So all I'll say is I did look at it a little sideways when she said that, because I'm like, well, girl, you make this entire show your whole life. You stop talking to people once they leave the show. So
Yes, but I also
perhaps
think it
that's
was
what she
because she was
meant.
talking about Alexis.
Yeah, well, obviously, yeah, she probably did mean like Alexis trying to use this for a storyline. It's whatever.
Mhm.
But yeah,
It was just an odd thing to say.
it
And it
was.
really opened the door for Heather to be like, well, isn't this our real life?
Yeah, it's my
No,
real
it's
life.
not, Heather. I don't believe that's your real life. I don't. So no, I don't.
Mm-mm. But yeah, Shannon starts telling Heather she just really needed to talk to a friend that day, and she chose Heather at that time to talk to. And that's when Tamra, like, Jesus Christ, like, back off. Back off. I used to enjoy Tamra as being a villain, but now it's becoming less enjoyable. It's really frustrating because she starts in, you're not the fucking victim, Shannon. And so that's when Shannon completely spirals, freaks out, and saying she's going home. That's a little dramatic to say you're going home because you're going to see your daughters as well. But okay.
No, you're going to the bar.
Oh yes, she went over to the bar. Okay, so what? I'm
No, it's
I'm
not
getting
what? These are the optics that are going to get used against you. Why are you giving cameras? Look what they focused on. Look what they
yes.
focused on. So that's my point. So then she needs to stop crying about, oh, it's not a big deal. It's not. You're right. Do it off camera. Let a season go by where you're not running to the bar every time.
I think
That's
she was
all.
trying to do it off camera, but it didn't happen. Is to be honest, I think she was because the lighting in there, the way she went and sat off in the camera, you notice they had to like sit down to focus on her. Because I think that was the thing is like she didn't want Tamara to be able to say shit. I mean, it doesn't matter. We know she's going to do it regardless of it being on camera or off camera. Like none of
Yeah,
us are that.
go for it. I mean, she already did. I'm just saying, if I were her, like, rep or agent or public, I don't know, I would be like, maybe don't,
Mhm.
just for this season 18. Like,
Okay, we have 4 minutes to wrap this up here. Hold on. We can't talk about Shannon's drinking one more episode. It's like the horse is dead. Because when Gina goes over to talk to Shannon, after carrying on and all of that, but this was after Tamara thought it was funny to laugh at Shannon because she was yelling at them behind these beams. And I know you thought that was hysterical. Part of me thought it was funny. And then part of me was like, you're being such a bitch, Tamara. Stop. Like, quit while you're ahead. Jesus
it was
Christ.
funny, though. She was yelling at her from behind bars.
I know, but you see, this is where it's hard because Tamara, like anything that I thought was a little funny coming from Tamara this episode, because of certain events that have transpired, now I'm viewing Tamara with very, very different eyes. And I'm trying not to. I'm trying to stick to the episode, but now I'm like, no, I can see certain things now that I didn't see before. Oh, hate it when they do this type of shit. Anyway, so it was funny for a second because Shannon was, I have mixed feelings about it. But let's see. Okay. Gina goes over to Shannon. All right. Shannon brings up Alexis saying that she had nothing to do with the lawsuit with Jim Bellino, and Shannon was adamant that she was in on it. And we see the flashback moment of, there's the door, Shannon Beador, whole thing. Well, the night that Shannon sent the text to Alexis, she goes through previous messages. And on June 27th, 2018, she sees that she had received a message from Alexis, way up in the thread. And it said, Shannon, everything you and Tamra have said in the media since the divorce are lies. We have engaged an attorney and will be suing you and Tamra for slander and defamation. Your insensitive and false allegations come at a very difficult time for our family. You are not going to convince me Alexis wrote that on her own. But then she says, we have engaged an attorney and will be suing you and Tamra. Alexis, you dumbass.
I remember, I don't know if you guys remember, I pulled the court documents from that case, and she was a party of interest. Now, I understand party of interest doesn't mean that she's involved.
Mhm.
However, I absolutely did not buy that she did not send that message. And I also think very strategic and smart of Shannon to pretend like she was searching for Alexis, but she already had that in the back pocket. She was waiting for the right time to use it. This was the right time to use it. So
yeah, but the fact that she sent it to Tamra, though, is what she tells us. And Tamra went, oh my God, yeah, that's because she had your number and not mine. Well, one, Tamra, I thought you guys were great friends, so she didn't even have your number. Two, why the fuck are you going so hard at Shannon when you knew? I mean, Jesus, it just makes Tamra look even worse. If Tamra doesn't come out with something that is legitimate for why she is so pissed at Shannon, I I don't see how we can move forward with her at all. You
I
know what
got
I mean?
I got a little bit of tea from not from Tamra, obviously, because they're not allowed to talk about any of that stuff. But like there was some sources that I had spoken to that said that it's not gonna go, the reunion's not gonna go the way people think it's gonna go.
Expect. Okay.
In terms of the antics around the Tamra Shannon thing. It's gonna
Mm,
be very different. And that's what I heard. No detail past that. So I don't know what that means. But
mm. Interesting. And listen, that's the thing is like they like to flip-flop on us. Like they with editing, they like to have us thinking one thing. I mean,
yep.
that's good storytelling, but that being said, we do have to wrap up. I'm sorry, friends. Giorgio and I had to have like a good discussion before we hopped on here. Otherwise, we would have had a little bit more time. But before we go, I want to say hi to a few more people here in the chat. I saw that again. Hi, Jeff. Fine, we won't get glam for BravoCon next year. Hi, Jen. Is it Jen K. Sable? I'm so bad at reading the names. I think I need some reading glasses, and I don't even want to talk about it. I'm just trying to see if anyone new joined the chat. Hi, Adam. Good to see you, friend. And again, to all of our friends out in Florida or on the coast, we hope you're okay, staying safe. Yes, Adam. Congrats, Giorgio, on all the praise and eyebrow love you got from Ronnie on Watch What
I'm still
Crappens.
shell shocked. I'm still shell
I sent
shocked.
it to
I'm
I sent it to
such big
Giorgio.
fans of those two. Yes, you did. Thank you. I'm such big fans of those two. So I didn't know
Oh
how
yeah.
that was gonna go. And I don't listen because I don't want to be like disappointed. So and everyone who sent me the timestamps and all that, I really
Mhm.
appreciate it. Thank you.
It was so kind, and I was just glad to hear that. It was really sweet. Okay, Giorgio, very quickly, tell everyone where they can find you.
Very easy. It's at Giorgio Says pretty much every platform, and the same for my podcast. You can listen to that anywhere. You can stream my music
Mhm.
anywhere you stream your music. And I have a Bravo Christmas album coming
I can't
out
wait.
on Black Friday. So, yes.
I need to have a Christmas party just to be able to play an entire Bravo Christmas album. Like, genuinely, where was this back when I used to have Christmas parties? Damn
It's
it.
been so fun, you guys. But, anyways,
Yes, I'm so sorry that I'm rushing us out. I
no,
hate when I have
you
to
gotta
do
go
that.
pick up your son.
Yeah, they don't like it when you let a 3-year-old walk 2 miles
No,
home by
no.
himself. Besties, find me on Instagram, TikTok at Besties by Caitlin, Caitlin. Check out the show notes. I have a partnership with T Public that is a different price point than my Etsy shop, and there are some designs that I put up that are exclusive to T Republic. So check that link out. Have some fun things in there. Also, leave a 5-star review, please. It means the entire world. Wherever it is you listen, if you're on YouTube, please hit the like button and subscribe. And besties, I will be back in better form on Thursday to do the gossip session because I could not do the Salt Lake City that quick of a turnaround, but I'm going to try and do it where I record that on the weekends or some other time. So keep an eye out for the audio on that. Giorgio, thank you again so much for being here, my friend.
Of
I'm glad
course.
you're back stateside with us. All right, besties. I will see you on Thursday. Bye.
Bye, guys.